So again, it's recording now. Hello, my name is LaShonda Haddock. We are at Millbrook High School. Well, we're at I'm at my house, but we are talking about our IB program here at Millbrook High School. And tonight, this is more of an interactive night tonight. We are going to allow parents who are thinking about having their kids come to Millbrook. We're going to allow you and your student to ask questions. You can throw the questions in the chat. We are going to let our parents, our past, present parents, present students, answer some of these questions for you. And they have filled out questionnaires. They are here to ask you anything. Ms. Bulmer knows Jen Gallagher, and she's like, hey, what's up? So we are just here to answer your questions and hopefully to give you insight of what we do and why we do it and why we love Millbrook. So we just are going to be answering why Millbrook matters, why IB matters, and how we are different. And we're going to start with that, talking about our academics. Okay, so any parent, if you have any type of questions about academics, this could be the registration process, what IB looks like in our school. We actually have 2 IB programs, the middle years program, which all of your kids will, in 9th and 10th grade, will join. I am the coordinator over that. And then we have our GP program, which is for upperclassmen. It's the open enrollment program. We have more programs at our school than just our IB. So we have a lot of programs. Talk about typical class sizes, rigor, what you should expect when COVID's over and your student is actually in Millbrook High School in a classroom. What are some things you should expect from our teachers, class sizes, all of those things. And we ask you to throw it in the chat. If we don't get anything in the chat, I will shoot some of these questions off that I've already asked these kids and parents, and we'll go from there. And when you are talking, if you do not mind, if you're a student of ours or a parent, I'd love for your camera to be on, but that is, I can't demand it. I politely ask. Okay, any questions before we go from a pool? All right, so when we're thinking about academics.
Oh, hang on, I better put my video on so you don't think I'm shy. Hi, sorry, I couldn't get off mute quicker, so I interrupted you, but I'm a prospective parent. My daughter's currently at Franciscan School in 8th grade, and I myself studied IB. My husband emailed you actually, so you suggested we should come to this call tonight. I myself studied IB when I was much younger, and so I was just wondering how much it might have changed over the last 20 years or so, the program, the diploma. We didn't have a middle years program at the time. So from the teachers and the students, I'd like to hear a bit more about that. And also how it works with the magnet program and the chances of success of applying and getting into the magnet program. Because I think with some of the magnet schools, it's the chances of getting in and getting accepted are a bit small.
Okay, well, I'm going to let Mr. Barron shoot off the answer to your first question, maybe because he has been IB a long time. And so he will be able to tell you some differences maybe from in the 20 years of what might have changed.
Thank you.
So I've been with the diploma program for about 27 years, and the overall structure of the IB diploma program hasn't changed. And let me just take a step back, because the middle years program began in, I want to say it probably in the mid-90s, as a means of prepping students for the diploma. So it didn't exist some time ago. It's relatively new, but it's been around, long enough. And so students start the middle years if they're able to in middle school in grade 6. They do 6, 7, 8 in middle school, continuation 9, 10 in high school, all of our students will be middle year students, regardless of the middle school they came from. And so the middle years and the diploma both, they're very different programs, but they both work through the lens and framework of the IB pedagogy, which I don't believe has changed. I believe certain things have been more emphasized in the diploma program over the years. So for just a really briefly, because this could go long, and I'm known to go long on these things, so I'll try not to. The diploma program is a program, and Ed can talk more about that when that time comes, where you're doing 6 diploma program classes that are content courses: English, math, science, history, the arts, a second language, and you're doing a core course called Theory of Knowledge, and you're writing an extended essay, you're engaging in something called CAS, Creativity Activity Service. And I don't think that's changed in the 27 years that I've been doing this. That's where the rigor, a lot of the rigor comes from. They're very demanding classes. One of the persons in the chat put, is IB and AP different? They are. That's a whole nother question. We'll do that a little bit later. But what does change is the way the IB, every 7 years, the IB re-examines each of its courses for relevancy, for changes in the content, so that the curriculum of the IB diploma is always up to date and engaged with modern pedagogy. The diploma program and the IB have a greater emphasis on approaches to learning, which are the skills that they teach. They have a greater emphasis, they've placed a greater emphasis on something called theory of knowledge, which is part of the core of the IB, the diploma program. And so in the larger structure, Ms. Burgess, no, it hasn't changed, but only in the emphasis and on the revisiting of the curriculum of all courses every several years. And so, yeah, that's the fundamentally the way it's changed.
Yeah, it's a very robust program. It's good. Thank you.
I'm going to have you on for all of my diploma program recruitment. So
And
thank you for being in.
I'm a fan.
All right, so one of our students, she also want to know classroom, like some of my 10th graders, we were in 9th grade last year, 10th graders this year. Maybe you can tell us about how you feel that MYP, how it is taught in your class. Like how does your teacher embrace their learning profile or embrace the principle of the IB? It's one for one of our students. You can use the raise hand feature, or you can just put your face on your beautiful face on the camera and just tell us about what you think, how it is in your classroom. Then
I could go. I would definitely say that, like.
Go ahead, Trinity. I said, go ahead.
Huh? Okay, I would definitely say that the Middle Years program, with our lesson, it's definitely, I feel like it connects to not just what we're learning, but everything else. In English, we had learned about a popular podcast, and I just thought it was really interesting to see how like what we're learning like connects with like what we do in the real world.
Good. Evan, could you tell us a little bit about
Can you give us?
Oh, McKenna wanted to. McKenna raised her hand. Go ahead, McKenna.
Okay, so for your middle years program, that's like for 9th and 10th graders. So your rising freshmen will, their sophomore year, they will do a personal project, which is where you can basically choose whatever like you're inspired by, and basically talk about that topic. So they give you a few months to get your essay together, and in your class they'll like help you through your essay. But here is where like the IB learner trait of like risk taking can happen. So like when you're in the guitar, you've always been playing the guitar. Well, you're gonna have to take that risk, and through this project, you're kind of implementing it in the class. So they're giving you time to do what you want to do. It's something that you're passionate about, and so that's something that Millbrook offers. And every 10th grader has to do it. So your child will be able to express themselves in their own way, instead of like a parent, or not a parent, instead of a teacher telling you exactly what your project is and how you're going to have to talk about it, or what you're going to have to talk about.
That's awesome. Sounds like fun. Thank you.
Good. It is. And like McKenna, did you say you learned how to play the guitar?
Personally, no.
Is that what you said?
My passion is dance. So I took for my project, I was going to do different dances from different decades, and I was going to compile it all into one. So that's what I was doing.
Great.
Okay. Doing the running man there and the twist. Evan, how do you think the principles of IB are your teachers use that in your DP classroom? Evan is going to be our diploma program person, and go ahead.
Yeah, I think they focus on it a lot in your classes. Mainly, the most important trait that I think in the DP program is balanced, because you're taking all of these challenging classes all at once. They try to teach you these balancing skills such as time management in ways that you can stay on top of your stuff and not let it overwhelm you. So I think that's the most important one.
Go ahead, Mr. Barron. Oh, I thought he had something to say. And Jody, I would ask you, because when we did our parent questionnaire, your kids have graduated, and you know and understand how our programs can help students to be lifelong learners. So tell us what you think about the IB program in the classroom and how it's helped your children.
Okay. Sure. So I have one, my oldest child graduated in 2019, and he is at NC State. Oh, my sweet husband's bringing me dinner. Thank you. And and he did the IB diploma program. My daughter Ainsley is currently a senior at Millbrook High School and is also doing the diploma program. And I would echo what Evan just commented on in terms of the rigor and the depth at which students are digging into the curriculum and the subject matter that is being presented to them is a very similar to college experience. And it's really nice for the kids to have that kind of experience with their teachers, so they have 2 years of kind of digging into that sort of stuff and getting really comfortable with the requirements of a lot of independent time management and being able to prioritize and sometimes pick and choose based on the reality of life. So I think it was a really good prep for not just the content and everything that they were able to explore. Like my daughter took theater, and in a million bajillion years, if you would ever said Ainsley Bulmer is going to be in theater, we would have laughed like right out the door. There's no way. And it's turned into like this phenomenal class for her, lots of expression, lots of confidence with public speaking and things like that, which is all just really good foundational stuff for college.
That's great.
It is a great college preparatory program, the DP program, and of our DP students, like have a Yale girl this year, so they get into great schools and they thrive in college as well. And Mr. Patton, your last question, if Mr. Patton is here, I'm not sure if he is.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, I know if her question was about the percentage of people that get in to the magnet.
So this is always the hardest question to ask, only because we, like the three of us on this call that work at the Millbrook High School, we have no say over that process. All the applications get submitted to the magnet office, and the magnet office actually just emails us about a month after the applications are in, a list of the students that get in. So if you want to talk about your situation, I am comfortable ballparking it a little bit more, only because now that I have a daughter who's going to be in kindergarten next year, so I've had to manage, how does this work? How do the magnet priorities work? What does the pathway mean? You know, that all is hard, and I've been in this system for a while. So we don't really have anything to do with it. It's hard to say what are the odds. We can't tell you, you have this percentage chance. But if you want to email me at cpatent2, I can give you a call tomorrow or next week, and we can chat about, okay, you know, where do you live? What's the priority list? Do you have other siblings in places that get priority points and stuff like that?
Yeah. Okay, thanks. I got the email.
That's probably the
All
easiest
right.
way to do it. We'll look at a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, thank you. I'll
Absolutely.
email you. Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks, Shonda, for that.
No problem. So Peyton asked two really great questions. And they're great because not only are we a very, very great IB school, but we are also a traditional school. We have so many programs at Millbrook that you can do the IB, you can do the IP, the DP program. You can decide in the 10th grade that you do not want to do DP, and you can go the traditional school route and take some AP classes. So McKenna, and I know she's in AP. Anyone else? Okay, so AP. The difference between them are they're totally two different programs. Mr. Barron has told us a little bit about IB. The College Board is with AP. We have how many? About 24, 25 AP classes at our school.
Yeah, sometime
Sounds about right.
in the low 20s. Yeah, there's quite a lot
And
in almost every
it's a lot.
discipline.
I would say almost every discipline. And AP, just like IB, you can get college credit for IB. You can get college credit for AP. You have to pass for both of those programs. You have to pass the test at the end of your course. And any of my students want to talk a little bit about what you think you're going back to that balance question that you were asked on your questionnaires. What would you anticipate for? We can do all our classes, honors classes, AP classes, IB classes. What can you anticipate each night for homework? And one of you might also want to talk about how our schedule is, how that AB day works, because that goes hand in hand with the homework.
I think I can talk about this because I've taken every class. Most of your honors and academic classes probably give around like 30 minutes, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, depending on the day, but that's about the average for homework wise. AP and IB classes are relatively similar in the amount of homework, but I would say IB is a little bit more. For most of my IB classes, I can almost count on getting at least probably an hour of work from each class. But what's nice about, like Ms. Haddock said, we have the 8A B-Day schedule. So that means, say on Monday is an 8A, you take all of your 8A classes, so 4 classes per day on Monday, and then on that Tuesday, you would switch to your B-Day classes and take 4 completely different classes, which means you do have 2 days to complete your homework, which is pretty nice. So yeah, I would just say.
Anyone else?
Oh, okay.
Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead,
I would
sweetheart.
say AP and IB probably about an hour per class per day, and then honors and academic probably about 30 minutes.
Anyone else want to say anything about that question? Or are we good? Peyton said thank you. Go ahead, Samantha.
Hi. Yeah, I would say the same thing, especially this year isn't a normal year. So, because we have the semester-based schedule, but if we were in school, we would probably be on the AB day schedule. So you'd have that extra day in between to complete homework. And especially for me, I do a lot of extracurricular activities. I do dance and cheer and dance teams. So having extra time to do homework is really great. So it does depend on which classes you are taking, the amount of homework you get, but it's with that extra day in between, it's great if you have extracurriculars or if you just have a lot of homework that night.
And Samantha, you just said something that I have been wondering. Maybe no one else has been wondering this, but I have. So with the semester, how, like, what do you think your pluses, like what we're doing right now with having 4 classes a semester and we're switching, what are pluses, minus compared to what we usually do? What do you think?
So my middle school was a semester-based school. So we had it the first 4 classes, last 4 classes. But going from middle school to high school, because I'm a 10th grader, but going from middle school to high school with the AB day classes, I personally like it better than semester-based because it's, well, first of all, you have quarter by quarter, so you have 4 quarters, and then you have that whole time to get your grade up if it's lower or to improve your grade. So that was definitely a challenge for me this year, but it has its weaknesses and positives. But it's definitely a change going from AB to a semester-based schedule.
Evan?
I can see the positives and the benefits and drawbacks of each one. I really like A Day, B Day because it gives you those days in between and extra time, and it also allows you to have courses throughout the year. So you're never put in a situation where you might be taking math the fall semester of one year and then the spring semester of the next. So you go a full year without learning something, which can be difficult. But I do like having the semester base because it does give you that consistency in your schedule. Every day is the same thing. You're saying the same people. And just a little bit of consistency is nice.
Thank you. Anyone else? Oh, McKenna?
Okay, so personally, I like the AB schedule a lot more, but due to recent conditions, we have been moved to semester classes. So one disadvantage with semester block classes is that, say you're taking an AP class, AP courses only have 1 testing time. So I'm not sure about IB, I'm not sure. But they only have 1 testing time, and for AP classes, like they're at the end. The tests are at the end. You're taking, like, for instance, I'm taking AP English language composition, and as well as APUSH. So our tests are in May, and I'm taking it. I was put into it my first semester. So with that, you're going into a whole, like, 4 whole different classes, and you're going to have to try to retain that information when you're going to take that test. With AB schedules, you have the whole year to talk about things, and you have more time to review when it comes to, like, testing time and all of that. So I definitely think, typically at Millbrook we do AB schedule, and I definitely think that helps when it comes to homework as well as testing. And if you're involved with many different clubs and organizations, it gives you time to basically do what you need to do.
That balance.
Can I-
Okay.
Can I?
And then I had Matt. Oh, yeah.
Well, I just wanted to say,
Go ahead, Mr.
I
Barry.
wanted to ask Ms. Bulmer. She put in a comment, and so I would wonder if she would be interested in expounding on that from the parents' perspective, because we will be going back to the AB, after, when, that's the expectation, and so you're going to be making a choice, since much of the county's schools are on the block.
Mm-hmm.
Millbrook will be AB along with other IB schools in the county, and most other schools are in the block. So you will be making a decision about that. And so we've heard from the students, and I would like to hear if Ms. Bulmer doesn't mind expanding on her comment from the chat.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. The biggest things are that it's burnout. It's, especially if you have, depending on how your schedule shakes down, you can end up with 4, meaty classes at a time every single day for the entire semester. I definitely was seeing burnout in the last 2 or 3 weeks before the break, which not something that we had seen before, really. And then, like, McKenna and Evan talked about just that continuity of learning for the entire year as you push towards those dates in May that are pretty essential for kids that are really striving to hit the mark for the diploma. There's, I know our teachers are fantastic. They're going to do everything they possibly can do this year to catch up, for the kids who have big, mine is in history, which is a huge exam, come May. So, and Bella is going to rock it. And that whole team, like that cohort of teachers are fantastic. And they're going to do extra work to keep the kids as prepped as they possibly can for that exam. But that's the biggest drawback to semesters for IB.
Thank you. And I think Madison wanted to ask a question, and then we'll go.
So again, from the students' perspective, I would say that AB days are really helpful, because if you have like a bunch of classes, like Ms. Bloomer was saying, if you have a bunch of classes that are like really hard, or you like don't like, are really hard, you have like a day like off of those classes. I remember my first day of school, I was like, oh my goodness, I can't do this. And then the second day of school came and I'm like, I really like this environment. I really like these classes. So it's good to like meet new people and have different classes. And right now for semester block classes, I only know those people in my like semester 1 classes. But with AB day schedule, I met people from my A day classes, in my B day classes. So I just feel like AB day is like really, I prefer it over the semester classes.
And Miss Duffy, did you have a question that pertained to this?
I guess was just offering to, add another parent perspective on the AB day. My daughter Trinity was talking a little bit before, but I mean, I think it's sort of echoing what Volmer was saying. She's got 2 AP classes in her math honors class this year. Like, thank God for yearbook. It has been like the one nice respite. But so it's been 3 really big, heavy classes, and trying to do it virtually. It's just, she's done a great job with it, but it's just been a lot on her plate. And so if all of the big, heavy classes are having big assignments at the same time, it's just been a lot for her to manage and keep up with. Whereas I think sort of like what the students are saying with the AB day, being able to get a little bit of break or some space, or if like one day you have a whole bunch of homework for one set of classes, maybe we can spread that out over 2 days and catch up on the other classes the next day. And so I think it's just definitely been more of a challenge of juggling the workload this semester with the AB day, with it all one semester versus the AB days.
Thank you, Ms. Gill. And just from a teacher's perspective, I taught in the classroom for 16 years, and I was able to teach in traditional schools and at magnet schools. And I will say that the AB day, I got to know my students. The relationships that I was able to build with my students from having them from August to June was a different relationship than that shorter period of time in that semester. And relationships are so important, and you get to understand if maybe they're having a bad day, and you need to reach out because you know their personality. So I enjoy the AB day.
I want to add just one more thing, if you don't mind. If you are at a block school, there will be a discontinuity in your learning. When you're studying disciplines like mathematics, a foreign language, it's a very different environment when you're doing something every day and then you stop, versus every other day over the year and then straight into the next level. And so the block you have to think about those things. We do have classes that block sections, so you can do 2 sections in 1 year. So for example, you're going to do math all year, but you could do math 3 every day the first semester, blocked with pre-calculus every day the second semester to get 2 sections in. We also do that with some of our languages. Let's say you want to get 2 sections of Spanish in the first year, or French. You could do Spanish 1 every day first semester, blocked with Spanish 2 every day second semester, but the continuity is there. And then the next year, when you go into Spanish 3, other than the summer break, you'll go right into the next level. Same thing with math. So that's also a really important difference between the AB schedule and the block schedule. Thank you.
All right. Next question was Miss Milford. Could I ask you to be a little more specific part of the program? Are you talking about the DP program, Millbrook as a whole?
I mean, I would say, yeah, I mean, either Millbrook as a whole or, you know, but within the context of the IB program.
Okay. So, and this for our kiddos here.
Trying to do it all at
once. You're fine. Ms. Milford just wanted you guys to each state your favorite part, like your favorite thing about Millbrook, and some one thing that you would like to see improved. And this can be about Millbrook. This could be about the DP or MYP. And I am just going to go down the list and call kids' names. Okay. Evan, you're first.
Okay, I guess I'll speak about the DP program because I think I'm the only DP student in here. I would say my favorite part of the DP program is really just like the kind of family feel that it has to it. Because it's relatively small, I think this year we have about 80 juniors. You get to know everyone in the IB program really well. You get to develop relationships with all of your teachers. And it makes it really easy that if you are struggling in a class, all the teachers are very approachable. And just having it kind of like a small little group is really nice. And then
your group of cohort, you guys go around a lot with each other and have the same types of classes together, correct?
Yes, because we all have the same, like the base IB classes, your math, science. You get to know each other really well. And then one thing to be improved.
You're struggling. That's good.
Yeah, I would say the balancing of it. There are times where you'll have a test in almost all your classes on the same day or like relatively like 3-day span, but the teachers are pretty good about communicating with each other and not having that happen.
Thank you, dear. How about you, Madison? What is one positive thing you love, something that you think could be improved, or and about Millbrook, the MYP?
So I'll talk about the MYP program. So my favorite thing so far has been like just the way that the learner profiles are like so heavily implemented in classrooms. Like I see it everywhere, you know, just like balancing, like everything is there, and it's in our projects, especially with the personal project this year. I really got to go into depth with that. So yeah, I just like that. One thing that I would like to see improved. This is a really hard question because like I'm sitting here trying to think about it, and I like literally can't think of like anything. But I don't know. Like it's just I've only been in the building for 8 months, and so like, but in those 8 months, everything was like great. Like online, I guess I could say the same thing as Evan. I guess just like the workload sometimes is like it's not overwhelming because you have to learn how to like be balanced, but yeah, that's it.
Thank you. McKenna?
Personally, with throughout Millbrook, the whole school, I would say that one of my favorite things is the connection. You can connect with people through sports, clubs, academics, like in classrooms and things like that. And I've also recently noticed that a lot of things that I've learned from Millbrook, like in the past, they're starting to connect, and I'm actually understanding. And I feel like I'm really like at this point prepared for college, because I definitely feel like once I'm able to understand what I'm learning and I'm excited tell my parents about like what I'm learning and how it connected and things like that. I feel like that's where I should have always been, but I didn't find that until I came to Millbrook. Also, I've met people along the way that I never thought that I would ever get close to. And one of my best friend, actually, we were at two different stages in our lives, but I met her through cheer, and we're closer than ever. We literally hang out every day. One thing that I think that Millbrook could fix, that's difficult. While everyone else was talking, I was literally sitting here trying to think. So I'm just going to piggyback off of what everyone else said. I have no specific thing that I would say Millbrook has to change, because I feel like it's prepared me for college, and I feel that with the rules in place that they have, I feel like I'm ready to branch off and become my own person.
All right, thank you. Samantha?
I would also like to agree with McKenna. Extracurriculars and clubs and sports are a huge thing in my life. And it's great that through Millbrook, I have friends who, they might not be in the same classes as me, but we do cheer together, or we're both in FCCLA. And just having a place where there's a lot of things that you can have in common with other people is really great, because those clubs and sports provide those similarities, so you can really meet anyone throughout. And I also don't really have anything I don't like about Millbrook. I really love the school, and it's been really great so far.
Thank you. And Trinity.
I'm sorry, I'm going to jump in really quickly, or I'm going to forget this, because I have a short attention span. I'm sorry. That was a really good transition to answer a question in chat about students not in the AP setting. And just for a parent perspective, for the parents that are here, right? Like, I think the real magic of Millbrook is we do a really amazing job. Like all the students we're talking about, having friends that do these other things. The adults that are involved in those things are so committed to building a community around that. It really is neat to see how many unique communities we have and how diverse those communities can become. So even if you're not in the diploma program, you know, we have other programs like the Digital Media Career Academy. But then there's like, I mean, I was a band nerd in school. Guess what we have at Millbrook High School? We got a lot of band nerds. We got theater geeks. Like, we've got them. There's math geeks too. I wasn't one of those, but there are small communities within the bigger setting that are not unique to Millbrook, but I would say the connection between the adults fostering those communities for kids is a little unique. It's really an investment that I don't see everywhere.
All right, Trinity, you're our last student.
Something I think I really like about Millbrook is just the community as a whole. I think the teachers just really want to support you, and I think they just want to help you succeed. And you can just go up to them and ask, and they'll just welcome you. You know, I think everyone is just really here to help you. And I definitely think that everyone here feels that. Everyone feels like it's almost a home in a way. It's very inviting. I also, like everyone else has been saying, the wide range of courses and extracurriculars. It's nice also to like make friends and things like that, because you can find people like who have your shared interests because of all the different clubs and activities. And so it's a good way to find friends who like the same things you do. Yeah, just like everyone else has been saying. I think the only hard thing about Millbrook is that I think sometimes things like to stack up on each other. Like, I remember someday I had like 3 tests on the same day, and that was kind of stressful. But like, everyone's here to help you out. So if you ever need anything, you can just go up to your teacher and they'll help you figure it out.
Thank you. And I do want to just bring it together. And it adds all the things that the kids have said and the things that Mr. Patton said. And it was actually one of my little questions here. Our school is about 2,500 students, but each one of these students and each one of these stakeholders here have said how it feels much smaller. And I think it's because of the communities that we make and the relationships that we build at our school. And they feel like it feels like a small community school, because it is a community school, but it just feels smaller. And as the students said, they said it better than I did, but it's their investment in the relationship. Any parents have anything to say while I look through this little chat to find another question?
Just a quick for the students, another question. Are you guys there? Is this your base school, or are you there through the magnet program?
Trinity, go first.
Or you could do raise of hand who's there on base, and then do raise of hand who's if it makes it easier. So just one person there for base school?
I'm a magnet student.
Oh, magnet. Okay.
I'm a base.
I'm a base student.
I'm a magnet student.
Magnet as well.
All right. So if Miss Milford has this question, then it's why you guys who are magnet, why did you choose Millbrook and not another magnet school? What were some of the things that when you were going through this process that these parents and students are going through right now, what are some of the reasons that you were like, man, I'm going to Millbrook next year? And whoever raised their hand.
No. So basically, there's this thing called the Magnet Fair, and my family, we went to the Magnet Fair. I was originally a magnet student leaving elementary, but we went back to the Magnet Fair to see what all of the schools had to offer. And Millbrook was willing to basically say, like, even though you haven't made your decision, like, come on, let's like show you around the school, let you know everything that's going on with our school. And I felt like that was the only school that really reached out, and they made it seem like they wanted me there. And it made me feel like, well, I feel special, because it's like, wow, you want to invite me to your school, and I possibly could go to the school, I possibly won't. So and when I got there, I saw familiar faces. But what really like stuck with me was the interaction that I saw between our choir director and his students, as well as some other teachers. Mr. Adams, when I tell you, he is like the person that you can always go to with any problem. If he ever sees you in the hallway with your head down, he will literally say like, hey, how are you doing? And he always makes sure to check in on his students. So when I saw their interaction and how excited they were for the class, I was like, I'm not a choir student, but this is definitely something I want to do. So and as well as like interactions with other teachers, but I've never felt that a teacher has cared about me more than ever when I came to Millbrook. So.
I think there was one more magnet. Was it Samantha?
Yes. So with me, I went to a school that filtered into Millbrook. I went to Durant Road Middle. So a lot of my friends were already going to Millbrook, which was one of the pluses. But I knew ahead of time that Millbrook had the IB program, which was something that my base school did not have. And I knew that was something that I really wanted to be in, because it just the structure of the program was something that fits me really well, and I knew that it would be something that would help me in school. And there were also many clubs that I was in my middle school that were also at Millbrook, such as FCCLA, which I am very passionate about, and I was happy that that was at Millbrook so I could keep through that. But I'm so happy I chose Millbrook because I have so many more friends that I know throughout all the school. I I'm in many different clubs that I'm so happy about. So it's just, if you have a choice, choose Millbrook. You won't go wrong.
Y'all are so sweet. And Madison.
So I went to a middle school that also fit into Millbrook. I went to East Millbrook, and every now and then they would have some of their students come over and talk to us, or teachers come over and talk to us. And I had a similar experience to both McKenna and Samantha. I remember the Digital Career Academy came to Millbrook, and we were just like talking about the things. I didn't end up joining it, but I was very interested at one point. But then I realized like I'm not really good with computers and stuff. But so like they're just like there to interact with you, and they're so informative. Like every time I ask a lot of questions because I have a lot of questions, and they were able to answer like each one. And I just think that they were like really welcoming. And also the choir also came to Millbrook or East Millbrook, and I was in the choir at the time, and I was just like, oh my goodness, they're amazing. Like I have to be a part of this. And my older sister went, so just like.
Thank you. All those like I put in chat. I miss kids. I miss kids. Love you guys. So sweet. Another question. We're gonna go. We're still talking about academics. We're gonna have to finish this academic stuff up. A parent asked, "What about kids who are not AP? What about kids who are not the DP program?" And I saw Mr. Patton. They talked a little bit about our amazing arts program. But one of you actually in one of your surveys, you talked specifically about the arts program and how wonderful it is, and how like you found yourself in our art program. So just one student, I don't care who it is. Can you just tell us a little bit something about maybe some of our electives at our school that you take? Something that is not like that academic AP or a DP program. Madison's hands up. Go ahead, sweetheart.
So last year I was a freshman, obviously, but I was a part of the choir program at Millbrook, and the arts program is so inviting and so welcoming. It's literally a huge family. You can go to them with any problem that you might have in any other class. Mr. Adams, I was in the choir, so Mr. Adams was my teacher, and every morning he just had this like huge smile on his face. I would come from civics. If I had like failed a test in civics, I could go to his class and be like, this is gonna be a great day. So yeah, I just feel like it's a huge family. The dance program, they're really talented. The band program, they're like always practicing. Like I do cheer, so when we're in the gym like practicing cheer, we'll hear the band like, oh my goodness, like they're really good. So yeah.
Thank you.
I want to make myself available to elaborate on other, not just arts programs, but there was a question about DMCA, so I think we can probably tie that in. So yeah, Madison did an incredible scouting report on some of the arts stuff, and she's right. We also have a really rich visual arts program. We have 3 visual arts teachers. We teach everything from Art 1 all the way through AP Studio Drawing and IB Art. We have students that come in and place into level 3 of art. So they're taking AP their junior and senior year. And yes, thank you, Mr. Barron. You can absolutely be in an arts program and be in the diploma program. It does take some, you just got to know what you want, but you can absolutely do it. Our theater program is really great. And a lot of people are like, oh, I'm not going to do theater because I don't want to be on stage, but we have a full-time tech theater program as well. So there's a whole opportunity for kids that want to work with their hands and be behind the scenes and work with the, get the microphone set up, do all the lighting, do all the prop building. Our CTE programming has a bunch of award-winning programs in it. Our ag department is in the running for a pretty high-level national award. Their leadership structure and student-run work is exemplary. It's a really great place to put your kid, just to be part of a really great community of leaders and service leaders in a building. We also have FCCLA, which I can't remember what it stands for, but it is a huge, every time they travel together, it's like 100 people meeting in the senior lounge. And that is students that take food and nutrition classes and interior design and child development, and I can't remember, there's a million classes in there. And then we also have DECA, which is like Future Business Leaders of America, and they go and they compete and they have business case competitions and marketing competitions, and we're forever having to try and pay for kids to go to nationals through FFA and DECA and FCCLA. Thank you for the assist, Sam Haig. I know all the acronyms. We have too many acronyms in education. And then one of the big things we have that's not just an elective or an extracurricular activity that is a program is the Digital Media Career Academy, which is through CTE. It's like in the CTE bundle of courses. And it is similar to the diploma program in that we work with students in a cohort. They start in cohorts as a freshman. In their freshman year, they usually take a digital design class together as well as English together, I think. Their sophomore year, they might also take English in a design class together. And then after that, they're taking advanced level digital media classes, whether it's drawing in 2D digital space or we have 3D game art design. We have a whole program where you can build 3D characters. Just before we got closed in March of last year, the kids were actually 3D printing the characters that they created in a 3D world on the computer. And that is a 4-year program. You graduate and you actually get the DMCA certificate at the end of it. So again, in the land of small communities in the building, DMCA certainly is one that comes with a lot of interesting opportunities as well as unique support. And then a shout out to my pet project and my personal favorite course at Millbrook High School, which is music production. We have a really neat course where students who are musical, but they don't want to do the traditional band, chorus, or orchestra thing, can, in an industry standard workspace, they can record and write their own music. We have a MacBook lab with 40 brand new MacBooks, a whole bunch of microphones. We've got a full-time teacher who is a recording artist, winning awards himself. Most of his music is high on the charts in Norway because he is like really into metal music. But he knows more about any music than you probably know yourself. He is a secret genius. So that class is super neat, and a lot of kids, like, I could ask every single one of the kids here, like, what are you listening to right now? It is very hard to find a student that doesn't listen to something. And so to be able to have a music class that is so personal to kids is pretty unique. I am interested, I'm forgetting who asked the non-IB question, but I'm gonna let Ms. Haddock keep going. And if we can answer more specific questions about the experience for like non-AP or non-IB, ask it.
All right, thank you. Mr. Patton, while I'm looking, someone asked about I told everybody we had goats, and I think it was Peyton. She was like, what, goats? So tell them about goats.
Yeah, so our FFA program focuses on, I think there's 3 key areas. We have horticulture, animal science, and ag science, which is a whole complicated thing that I can't get into because it has to do with all of the whole industry of how we produce food. And so part of animal science is we have chickens out back. We have a whole chicken coop. And we have 3 goats that live on campus between school and the baseball field. I can't wait for us to have baseball again, because last year a baseball got hit into their little pen, and then you just heard this, wah! Yeah, if you've ever heard a goat yell, it's kind of funny and kind of scary at the same time. But yeah, we have 3 of them: Primrose, Thistle, and I can never remember the 3rd one. So if somebody here knows the 3rd goat's name, good on you. I feel bad every time. But yeah, we got goats. They're really, you can go drive by and check them out on a Saturday or something.
And the eggs are really good. They sell their eggs. It's great. Yeah, the goat does not mind that you don't know his name. All right, so next thing we're going to talk about, and honestly, we've been talking about this the entire time, but if any parents have any other questions about balance, one very, very important thing about high school and about life in general, that not everything is a job. We also can play and have fun with things as well. And that's where the learner profile of balance comes in. And we have some athletes, so a lot of girls up here. I was a cheerleading coach for 11 years. I love all these cheerleaders in the ambassador program here. And so we have a lot of athletics, a lot of clubs. They talked about their clubs and activities that we have at our school. And in this one, if you have parents, if you have any questions about clubs or activities, our athletics, if you have any questions about student services, so our student services, our counseling program, how they are here at our school to help our students maintain this sense of balance and help them if they need the help from them. Also, in this balance, we can talk about our community, our traditions, the maniacs. MEB is our executive board. I am the instructor over that, and so we try to make sure try to build culture, try to make sure that Millbrook has different things to offer for lots of people. We try to do that. Our values, traditions. So if anyone has any questions about that, just go ahead and let us know, and we will answer them for you. Good? No questions about extracurriculars? Student services? Parents, do you know how we have a lot of questions sometimes about how kids register for classes, things of that nature. All right. Any questions about specific questions about IB or foreign language? I was IB or the diploma program. So foreign language, we have a few. We have a Chinese program. We also offer French and Spanish and Latin. And is there anything specific you would like to know about our foreign language program?
So I can pick up a little bit. Ms. Gallagher, should I take your mic off? Do you?
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, great. Be more specific.
I have too many electronics on my desk here. Yeah, well, so for better or for worse, my student has not taken a foreign language up to this point, except, early elementary school. So, just a little bit about it. I mean, I took a foreign language when I went to high school for 4 years. But I didn't take it in college or anything, but I think that's something that she would be interested in, but she doesn't have experience in foreign language. A lot of kids today have taken Spanish for 3 or more years and they get to high school and they're pretty proficient.
I think going into Spanish 1, especially if she took Spanish 1 as a freshman, I think she'd be in there with a bunch of other freshmen that she knew.
Mm-hmm.
We have some students that come to us having taken 1 or 2 years of language. West Millbrook, as an IB MYP middle school, has kids who are going to come to our school and place into level 3. But I would say 40 to 50% of freshmen probably haven't taken a language yet.
Okay.
Like she's not behind or anything. And then because and it depends on the language, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Spanish teachers because of the demand for Spanish. That creates an immense amount of flexibility with how much you want to take, how far you want to go. It's different if you want to take Latin, where we have 1 teacher and usually 1 or 2 sections per level of language. If you're going to do Latin, then you got to know there might only be 1 Latin 2 section next year. And if it conflicts with something else I want to do, I got to make a choice. So, Spanish is the most flexible. French has the next flexibility. And then Chinese and Latin have the least amount of flexibility just because of demand at this point. That's just math, and that's the most administratory thing I think I'm gonna hopefully say. But she won't be behind. She'll have a lot of options. And we offer all of those courses, levels 1, 2, 3, 4, and many of them, all of them in the IB and a few of them in AP as well.
Thanks.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I went to a charter school that didn't teach language, so I had no language experience coming in, or foreign language experience. And I would just want to say that I would highly recommend taking Latin. Dr. Gentili, the teacher, she's a PhD. She's a fantastic teacher. And I've just really enjoyed the class. It's really beneficial helping with other languages. And I think it's just a great class. It's sometimes overlooked because, yeah, of the inflexibility. And some people see it as like a really difficult class. And it is challenging, but Dr. Gentili makes it work out, and it's just a really great class.
I think overlooked is a really great way to describe that, because it's a little outside of the norm, because it's not a language that you hear spoken out in the world. But when you think about, I mean, Mr. Barron and I were joking, we joke about it all the time with all the little things that show up, ab initio and this and that, like Latin always haunts us. Latin always shows up in places.
Trinity?
Just like Evan, I had come into freshman year not had taken any languages, and I took Spanish. We started off with just the basics. I felt it was a pretty easy transition. I mean, it was hard as any other class, so I felt like the teacher was really good. She was good with beginners, basically.
And Mr. Barron.
Yeah, I want to reiterate that a student coming in with zero language experience will not be behind. It'll just be in a different place, but they'll be with a lot of students. Spanish and French both offer the opportunity to block levels as well. So you can get 2 years in two sections in a single year. We've had students start with zero language experience and build near fluency by their 5th section. But at the same time, we're stressing not simply communication, but also cultural understanding. So once you get to that, even the 2nd, 3rd, 4th year of language study, it's more than just about the communication. So you're working towards fluency. That's the goal, but the students have the opportunity to really thrive. And our teachers, and especially when you get into the 4th year and the 5th year through AP or IB, they really we have a tremendous program. And I'll reiterate, I'll support what Evan said about Dr. Gentili and Latin. Our Chinese program is going to start growing as well, with the West Millbrook students coming in, and it's thriving. It's a great opportunity.
And yeah, in Chinese, Mr. Jung, he's awesome. Like, he's also the orchestra teacher, and he's just a cool man. He's so cool. So yeah. Sweet. Thank you, guys. All right. Any other questions, parents? I'm going to ask Mr. Barron. He just segued into something else that we were going to talk about, and it's one of those IB principles that as an IB school, we connect. We want as some of our students have already said, we want their studies to connect to the real world, but we also want our studies to connect to each other. And some of that has to deal with something called international mindedness. And I just wanted Mr. Barron, since we were talking about language and not just fluency, how international mindedness goes into that. And as he is talking about that, hopefully somebody can ask any more questions, and if not, we'll wrap things up.
So international mindedness, it has a number of different definitions depending on who you ask, but the principles are fundamentally the same. And it is that we all see the world in unique ways. We engage the same content all from our own unique individual lens. And that lens is formed by our family experience, our cultural experience, our religious experiences, whatever framework we have, our own histories. We are unique. So we sit next to somebody in a classroom, we read the same literature, we study the same science, we study the same history, but we ingest it differently, we understand it differently. So when we talk to our neighbor about that content, the intent with international mindedness is to understand that we're reading the same thing, but we might see it in different ways. And it helps us to understand that different people with different perspectives can have valid viewpoints that might differ from our own. And our intent is to be able to engage with those people in constructive, productive, and positive dialogue that will help us all move forward, even when we disagree, and understanding also that disagreeing can be valuable because it can help us grow, challenging our own assumptions and challenging our own preconceived notions. And so the last line of the IB mission statement is that those with their differences can also be right. And so it's to help us understand that we're using content to develop people, these people here on the screen, to become caring, engaging, reflective, risk-taking people through the approaches to learning of collaboration and critical thinking, and to better be able to work with each other down the road in whatever pursuits they have. That would be my basic explanation of international mindedness.
Thank you, sir. All right, let's open the questions. Anyone have anything that they would like to ask our stakeholders here? Our 10th, 11th, and Evan, you're in Mr. Freeman, you're in 12th grade, right?
Not yet.
No, I'm a junior.
We've got him for a whole another 3 semesters.
All right, so our sophomores
Yeah.
and our juniors. Parents, any questions? Okay, so this is how we are going to end our session here. Each of these students were asked 3 things, three words that they would use to describe Millbrook. And so I am going to let them share that with us. Guys, when you share it with our prospective parents and students here, could you also tell them what grade you're in, and then tell them what three words you said that when you think about Millbrook, what were those 3 things that you would, 3 words you would use to describe it? And let me get my little list up and I'll just go in order. All right, Evan, you're first, sir.
Like what was just said, I am a junior, and I think my 3 words were enjoyable, challenging, and rewarding.
Okay, and why did you pick those 3 verbs?
Well, I think I chose challenging and rewarding because I wanted to emphasize, like, yeah, there is some points where it is difficult and there is a lot of work involved with it, but you get so much great benefits, not just academically, but as a person overall, that it's really just worth it. And then enjoyable, just the whole school is great and really fun.
Thank you, sir. Madison.
Hi, I'm Madison. I'm in 10th grade. The 3 words that I used to describe my time at Millbrook were informative, successful, and also enjoyable. Informative because I've learned so much. I've actually kind of decided what I want to do when I grow up because of Millbrook. I was in a creative writing class, and I was like, you know what, I really like writing. And so I joined Yearbook, and, you know, I'm looking at different journalism options. And so, yeah, that's why I chose informative. And then successful because I've just been successful at Millbrook, you know, and I feel like Millbrook promotes success. And I couldn't have done it without, you know, the people that I've met at Millbrook. So that's why I chose successful. And then enjoyable because, you know, everything at Millbrook is enjoyable. I have a lot of good friends that I've met. A lot of the clubs and games and everything are just really fun, and they know how to make, you know, Millbrook a fun, enjoyable environment.
Thank you. McKenna?
Okay, so my 3 words, like Evan said, I had enjoyable. It's just an all like time great experience. And then another word of mine was inspiring. It's some teachers that I've had interactions with, and they inspire me. They've inspired me to go into they inspired me to further my excitement about the profession that I want to take on, which is physical therapy. And my 3rd was preparing. I feel like Millbrook has really prepared me for the future now. I think I am ready to go off on my own. And I think that I will personally succeed. And I feel like Millbrook has taught me that good is not good enough. If something is good, you need to be great. If something is great, you need to be amazing. So they've really like changed my standards, and I feel like that's really going to help me in the future.
Okay. And Madison was a sophomore, and McKenna, you are a...
Sorry, I'm a junior.
Thank you, ma'am. Samantha?
Hi, I'm Samantha. I am a sophomore, and my 3 words were inspiring, encouraging, and involved. Everyone at Millbrook wants you to succeed. They want you to do your best. They want to see you have fun, and they are always helping you. They're always encouraging you to do your best, to be the best you can be. And I also said inspiring like McKenna, but same here with Millbrook. I found what I want to do when I'm older. I want to be a lawyer and politician. And through Millbrook, I have learned that I love leading and public speaking. And through Millbrook, I've gotten to do so many opportunities that I might not have gotten to do if I had gone to another school. Like currently, I am a state officer for FCCLA, and that was done through Millbrook. So I'm so grateful for all that, but it really just, everyone's here to support you.
And did you say what grade you're in? I don't remember.
I'm in 10th grade.
Thank you, dear. Trinity.
Hi, so I'm a sophomore, and the 3 words I chose were accepting, unique, and creative. I think Millbrook is it's a unique environment, you know. I don't think it's a lot like other schools. We're very accepting, and I think it greets you with open arms. I would say a lot of the lesson plans and the way that teachers go about how they teach their students is just very creative in the way that they decide to teach us our material. Like the labs we do or the projects that we're assigned, it makes going to school fun.
Thank you. All right, last call. And my parents, I also asked you to do 3 words. If you want to say something while we're making sure that everyone's questions have been answered, then that is also fine. Any questions? Any parents like to? Something's in there. Miss Gill, go ahead.
Yeah. So the words I picked were engaging, encouraging, and rigorous. And really just want to commend really everyone at the school. Like this has been such a challenging year with trying to transition to virtual school and with like the never ending sets of changes and just the ways the teachers have really worked hard to keep the students engaged in the material, but not just that, but like checking in with them and the flexibility of understanding that these things are challenging and sort of being flexible with the students on due dates, but also just sort of checking on their emotional health, I think has been really nice. I've just seen so much care and compassion from the teachers to the students in trying to sort of manage this really unique place that we're in. And I definitely, you know, when I think about even just the transition, my daughter's a sophomore from last year as a freshman into a sophomore year, sort of also watching the way the school sort of has done nice scaffolding. Like I felt like there was a step up from 8th to 9th grade in independence and responsibility, but then watching this next step from 9th to 10th grade, like they've been big steps, but they've been steps with support and steps that I really felt like that she's been able to help have the assistance to make that transition. And I really appreciate that. And I feel like the teachers have just done a really good job of encouraging the students to learn and grow. I think the way a lot of these other students are saying, and also just what a diverse environment that Millbrook is. Like their students, I know we've talked about communities, but also from every racial background, I think from different class and economic statuses. It's a very supportive environment for LGBT students, just the broad range, right? Like, so I think it's also not just beyond just clubs and activities, but I think it's also just the various different ways where people can find that opportunity to express themselves as people. My daughter's been in yearbook, and, you know, one of the pluses and minuses to virtual class is that parents can sort of eavesdrop or hear bits and pieces. And I really liked how Ms. Putnam has been engaging the yearbook students in conversations about current events and how to sort of interpret that themselves, but also sort of how that shows up in the yearbook and how to reflect this very unusual year and how to document that in a yearbook. And when most of the students are not engaging in classroom experiences the same way they used to, it's been really just an amazing experience as a whole.
Thank you. Miss Barton.
Hi, I want to first apologize for my tardiness, but I do want to say I want to speak because I'm a parent as well as a faculty member at Millbrook. And I would say the three words that I would use is definitely motivational, diverse, and it already said rigorous. And the reason why I said diverse is because my two sons, one is in the 11th grade and one is in the 9th grade, are polar opposites. However, in spite of their differences, they've found their niche in how to succeed and find their place within the community at Millbrook. Even my youngest, who is 9th grade, and of course, for a 9th grader, I think it was very difficult because they have no idea of really the culture of the school because they have never stepped foot in the hallways. But he was able to find his niche throughout this year, which it has its own challenges, but they both have been very successful, which leads me also to motivating because of the differences. Then we meet the students where they are, motivating them on their level. Everyone is not the same. Fair is not the same for all students. So we have to make sure that I found that the teachers will meet the needs of the students where they are. So those are the things why I found success at Millbrook with my personal children.
Ma'am. And Ms. Haig, would you like to, you were writing in the chat box, would you like to say anything else? But like all these, everyone said, and you as well, it's just our community. It's so diverse, but we allow kids to find out who they are. All right, well, that's it. We would like to thank you guys so much for participating. Thank you to our students. Again, we miss seeing students' faces, so it was really good seeing you guys tonight. Mr. Barron or Mr. Patton, do you guys have anything else to say? Would you like to say anything else as we are closing out tonight?
This is my third high school that I've worked in, and they've all been large, in the 2,000 range. And Millbrook feels like the smallest school that I've ever worked in, because of the community that you've heard students talk about nonstop. And it's the PTSA, which is amazing and incredibly involved and incredibly supportive of the students, incredibly supportive of the teachers. It is the teachers themselves, and you know, I'm very tightly involved with the diploma program faculty, but I know well the Millbrook faculty as a whole, and it is such a caring group of people, engaged group of people, and in fact, if I had children, I would send them to Millbrook High School. In fact, I did. I had two go through Millbrook High School, and they've both graduated, and Millbrook treated them very well, and they're very different in their academic pursuits. And as Ms. Bartney said, the school, everybody can find their niche. And I think, you know, Ms. Gill said that as well, that it accommodates everybody. It's amazing.
Mr.
Thank you. That's all.
Any final thoughts, sir?
No, I'm getting anxious because it's little one's bedtime. So routine. We gotta do the routine.
So thank you guys for coming. Next, our next thing will be next Tuesday. It's the 12th, I believe. It's Tuesday, January 12th. We have our IB Expo. It will be this type of forum, but it's going to be a lot more focused on the DP program. More DP students will be there, and DP parents, and the IB program here at Millbrook. We're going to share some projects and things that the kids have in their experiences in the DP program. And then we also have a couple of theme programs for East and West parents, Carroll Middle parents, and charter and private school parents coming up as well. And don't forget that the deadline to apply for our magnet is approaching very closely, the 28th. And that's all we have for you guys. Thank you so much. As Mr. Patton put all of our email handles in the chat. If you have any questions, please feel free to email. And we thank you guys so much for coming. It was a very great opportunity tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye, friends.